Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, January 25th, 2018. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. A suggestion made by Grant Connell, who is legal counsel for Yogi Farrell, to have an in-camera hearing on her next court appearance on Monday, January 29th. Another lawyer here is advising against such move, which she believes could impede justice. Lawyer K. Bacchus-Batiste told SVG-TV News that the suggestion to keep the media and public out of the court could backfire. Bacchus-Batiste said the media and public are the watchdogs to ensure that Farrell's well-being is protected, and this must be in full view.
I do not see how an in-camera trial can help her. You see, an in-camera trial is when you keep out the press, you keep out all members of the public, and it is just between the parties. It's like a private trial. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the life of this child has been spared because of you, the public, because of you, the press, because you have put pressure on this administration to be transparent. If I were her lawyer, I would recognize the role that the press is playing and the role that that the public has been playing in speaking out for Yogi. So I don't want the public to feel that they are interfering, and if I was her lawyer, I would be happy that the public has been supporting this child so much and that the press has been publishing truthfully the proceedings, because were it not for the press, she might have been lost to us by now. So I'm a bit concerned how an in-camera trial and why an in-camera trial should be asked for. And why would her lawyer say she may not even come to court on Monday, but that she may be taken out of the country? To go where? There are all sorts of, I don't know where. What I do know is that I was asked by the family to look after getting a competent psychiatrist to evaluate her. But it seems as though that is being taken away, or there's a move afoot to prevent this action so that she'd be examined maybe by somebody else. I want the public to recognize that we are our brother's keepers.
The veteran lawyer pointed out that family members of Farrell have sought her assistance and that she has been focused on getting the necessary help for the 22-year-old Otley Hall resident.
My main focus would be to get her proper psychological evaluation. I do not think that the public, and even the point was made sufficiently clear to the court, that that report which was presented to the court overstepped its bounds. I do not think that any psychiatrist is competent, least of all a doctor who is not a psychiatrist, to say that she is unfit to plead. And those legal arguments would be presented to the court in due time. I don't think that that was properly done. Secondly, according to the law, I am convinced that they had no right to drug her. They gave her 3 very powerful drugs. My information from the mother and the sister who saw Yogi up to the Thursday and Friday is that Yogi was fine, looking forward to coming home. So I do not think it is fair, therefore, for the magistrate to rely on that medical report for those several reasons. They should not have drugged her. The law said she was sent for evaluation. They should have evaluated her and then come back to the court. So many things went wrong with this case. To send her there for 2 weeks for evaluation, my mind is against her rights.
Bacchus-Batiste further stated that intimidation tactics are being used to get her interest away from the case, but that she is not fearful.
A thread, some WhatsApp thread this morning, reportedly from the other side, where they are threatening to get at me, where they have said that I am the one who is keeping this thing and spearheading it, and that the aim would be to get at me, get her out of the country, and quell the public interest. My name was actually called and mentioned in this WhatsApp that I saw, based upon what they said was discussions that were held to get at me. So it would not be the first time that this has been done, persons trying to get at me because of my political activist work, but God is my protector. and has been my protector thus far. And I continue to rely on God and the Spirit of God and the angels of God to protect me as I pursue this very, very important case.
And General Secretary of the ruling Unity Labour Party, the ULP, Julian Francis, says the opposition New Democratic Party, the NDP, is desperate to get into political power and is using the Yogi Farrell case for political mileage. On Star FM Tuesday night, Francis said the NDP is known for using salacious activities to fuel their campaigns to try to get the ULP out of office, but they will continue to fail in their attempts. He also questioned why they have been silent on the election petitions case with the ruling still pending.
And all this is driving the NDP into desperation. They move from one scandal to another, from one matter to another. The initial savior following the licks that they got at the polls was to go for petitions. It's been 2 years plus now, and they're still fighting these petitions. I don't know if they're now trying to use the Yogi Farrell to smother their failure on the election petitions. You hardly hear them talking about election petitions. The gentleman who is the political leader now called a press conference, and you know, you hardly heard anything about. I didn't listen to them. I was in cabinet, but the matter of petitions have not made headlines in this country. The last time we heard something about it was sometime in December when it went before the magistrate, and she said that she will give her ruling sometime in January or February. Well, January is almost done and February is approaching, so you know, I could understand the desperation that's in the breast of the NDP. So the salaciousness of this present saga seem to be their savior.
Francis is also of the view that a person who goes to the mental health facility, as in the case of Yogi Farrell, would receive treatment as it could be a procedure.
And the experts are trying to find out what the problem is and to deal with it and to get help for her. You can only help somebody if you're able to do an assessment. You first have to do an assessment. If somebody is sick and they go to the hospital or you go to a doctor, that's why you go to the doctor. You know you're sick. You don't know exactly what is wrong with you. So you go to the doctor and he will look at they do your test, he do your blood test. I don't know what tests they do out at the mental health center, but I go to a regular doctor if I feel sick. When I had the flu last year after Carnival and I was down for weeks, couldn't even come on the radio station, I went to the doctor. I said, but I don't like how I feel. This thing, like, it really paralyzing me. And, you know, he did his test and he told me, well, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to take this medication, you need to take that medication. I suspect that in the field of mental health, it is a similar approach.
The ULP General Secretary chided persons for calling on Finance Minister Camilo Gonsalves to speak up on the Farrell saga, noting that he had already spoken on the matter since last year on Boom FM.
Camilo spoke on this matter since last year. He was asked by Bing about it last year and he spoke to the subject matter. The NDP people them have it playing on Nice Radio. Listen to what he said last year. See this girl, like she have a hit on him? And that there seemed to be a mental problem there. Something wrong. Those words, I don't have the exact quotation. I'm paraphrasing. But this matter was addressed. What you want him to come and talk for? For Luke Bode to ask him if he had a relationship with Yogi? So that when Storm calling, he want to ask Storm. He wants to ask Storm if Camilo had something to do with the young lady. If I asked Luke today if he had a relationship with a certain woman, would he want the answer on radio?
Several areas of growth and development perspectives for the country, as well as medium-term possibilities for economic growth, were highlighted today when the SVG Chamber of Industry and Commerce held its first lunch seminar for 2018 at the Beachcombers Hotel. These areas were highlighted by Minister of Finance Camilo Gonsalves as he delivered the feature address at the seminar. Minister Gonsalves told the gathering, SVG will only maximize its theoretical potential if the local private sector seizes the many opportunities that are made available.
The International Monetary Fund, coming out of our recent annual consultation, has predicted growth of 2.1% for the coming year and indicated that growth thereafter will top 3% as the Argyle International Airport becomes busier. The IMF conceded that those numbers may be slightly conservative, but they are dependent on how quickly we implement new projects and, critically, how aggressively the private sector invests in new opportunities. Those opportunities are manifold, multi-sectoral, and cross-cutting, and they are twinned with a government that is eager to enter into bespoke arrangements and partnerships with local businesses and investors to further our shared goals.
The Finance Minister further called on the private sector to pay more attention to developments in the tourism and hospitality sectors, which he deemed to be the most obvious among the categories of investment opportunities.
2018, with increased tourism, increased cruise arrivals, increased direct flights, increased yachts, has immense tourism potential. The obvious entrepreneurial opportunities naturally follow from those increases. This year, the government will undertake a major thrust in encouraging new and expanded hotel access and hotel rooms in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We, being the government, will be attempting to add roughly 250 rooms of capacity, breaking ground this year, which would be then managed by the private sector. Some members of the Chamber are already aware. We have made approaches to gauge interest in partnering with the local private sector in expanding room stock. We are open to all varieties of partnership arrangement. The Ministry of Finance is also considering adjustments to the tax code to benefit hoteliers and hotel construction.
The lunch seminar is seen as an opportunity for the local business community to network and offer each other the insight on local business affairs, as well as to be informed of current Chamber activities and benefits. Noting that the Chamber has an important role to play in the growth and development of the nation's private sector, President of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Wayne Hull, thanked the event sponsors St. Vincent Distillers Limited and other partners for their support in making the event possible. He further gave an update on the activities which the Chamber will be involved in this year.
Management training this year. We're also going to have a seminar on QuickBooks Level 1 and Level 2. I think we're planning to do several of those this year. We did one of those seminars earlier this month. We're going to do some marketing and marketing development training as well. Chamber has been tasked with playing a pivotal role in the adoption of electric vehicles in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We're looking to partner with the vehicle distributors along with businesses for us to help to drive that initiative forward. I want to also have this year a seminar with the Inland Revenue just to give us some update with the filings for VAT and income taxes as well. Banking Association, where we can work with that grouping to help drive the number of point of sales terminals throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And as well as we can help to lobby the banking institution to help lower the rates, not just for the businesses, but also for the users. I think that is another initiative that we at the Chamber is going to help to drive this year.
The Center for Enterprise Development Incorporated, the CED, will roll out its 2018 program tomorrow with the official launch of its Youth Entrepreneurship and Innovation Club, which is geared at developing a culture of innovation among young people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As a collaborative initiative with the SVG Community College, the club will specifically target students at the college who have an enterprising spirit or idea, along with those who are already engaged in business activities. It will seek to exploit the synergies generated with the students when the students get together, transform ideas, innovation, and invention into commercial business opportunities, and develop a community that nurtures entrepreneurship and innovation. Tomorrow's launching ceremony is scheduled for 2 p.m. at the SVG Community College. The launching event will hear addresses from CED General Manager Felix Lewis, Director of the SVG Community College Nigel Scott, and Education Officer for Media and Communication in the Ministry of Education Marlon Anton. The feature address will be presented by former CED Director and Lecturer at the Sir Arthur Locke Jack School of Business in Trinidad, Dr. Julian Ferdinand. Students at the college have been urged to apply for membership. Application forms are available from staff at the SVGCC in Villa and Arnisvale. The celebration of a young man's life turned to mourning in the Redemption Shops community as SVG records its first murder for 2018. 22-year-old Jabari Charles was fatally shot at his birthday lime last night, while several of his friends sustained gunshot injuries. According to the police, at around 8:56 p.m. last night, masked gunmen approached the pavilion in the Redemption Shops area where the deceased and his friends were liming and opened fire on them. The deceased was struck in his neck and shoulder. He was taken to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. 4 other men were taken to hospital with gunshot wounds. The police are seeking the assistance of the public in assisting with their investigation into the matter. SVG-TV News team today caught up with the deceased's mother and aunt, who are both saddened by the killing of their young relative.
It was his birthday, so he must have had some friends on the bar going with him. And then this what the thing happened to him, but I don't know the time or what, but I know he was my real nephew. Nothing never troubled him. If I ask him a question, he make me an answer. If he meet me rain on the road, he go tell me, Tanti, go home. And I will listen to him because he never disrespect me and I never disrespect him. He always my friend, he come like my son. So when I heard the news, I heard the bullets them last night and I say, somebody get died, but who I didn't know. So I watched TV till late and didn't know it's he. Till this morning, I never put my radio on 705. And when I put it on, 9:30 time, I hear this news with Jabari Charles get shot and die, and 4 more other person. So I start to cry and say, why he, Lord, why he? A very nice person, eh? And I always admire him. When he going cool, he coming cool. Going and coming, slow say much. Not a person of war and them thing, I never know him in no war.
And I went in, but I didn't sleep. This morning, grandboy was sleeping with me, saying what happened. I said, I know what happened. Barry dead. He asked me and I said, boy, I have a feeling Barry died. And he said yes. And when I do hear 5 of them, Barry died and 4 in the hospital. It's sad. Because he ain't troublesome. I could say my grandchild, you might say because it's he. I could tell you where the grandchild troublesome. But I can't say it now here. But Barry was a cool guy. And I can't understand why, but only Jehovah knows why.
Students across SVG are being encouraged to engage themselves in positive and responsible behavior whilst using the internet. The advice comes from President of the SVG Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, as he spoke with SVG-TV News on recent videos which have surfaced involving students engaged in sexual activities. Robinson said it is necessary that parents play a greater role in monitoring the activities of their children, especially their use of the internet.
I think greater supervision and monitoring from parents and guardians, that's an imperative if we really want to ensure that the students use the internet but for productive purposes rather than indulging in these kind of acts. You know, so we appealing to the parents and the guardians really to pay close attention to your students, your children when they're using the internet. Because the internet, it has its positive, but it could also be used for the wrong purpose.
Robinson says there is also the need for more counselors to be attached to schools across the country.
Well, will see there is where we need more counselors in schools, because there are a number of schools which do not have counselors or even guidance officers. Okay, a lot more schools need counselors. I'm not just talking about having a teacher assigned to a class and still have to do counseling. They're two different jobs. You know, we really need a counselor. Even if you don't physically have a counselor at every school, but you could have like a counselor service in a cluster of school within a geographical location, because it's going to be pretty expensive to have a counselor in every single educational institution.
The SVGTU president said whilst the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, the NTRC, does its utmost to ensure that service provided to schools do not contain inappropriate content, it is necessary that students be more responsible and use the internet for positive activities which can uplift them.
But also the internet is also available in schools. You know, I know that the NTRC has a system of monitoring the sites, but you know, the internet is so dynamic that you may block a site today and it shows up tomorrow under a different name operating from a different location. I know the NTRC is making an effort to monitor the sites so that our students would be having access to sites which are positive, which are good, which are not nude and dirty, if you want to use that language. We want to ask the students to refrain from going on sites that would mess up their mind. And whatever they videotape to put online, it has to be something that is positive, because they are tarnishing their own image, the image of their family, and even their school or their community.
When men lose focus of their God-given purpose, negative things will occur within a nation. That's according to coordinator of Project Men 2020, Conroy Huggins, as he spoke with SVG-TV News on the organization's planned day of fasting and prayer to be held at the SVG Football Federation's conference room this Saturday. Highlighting the purpose of the event, Huggins said the theme Improving Men's Health 2018 is a critical one, adding that the fasting and prayer sessions are intended to help to improve the spiritual health of men in SVG.
Within the Christian community here in the Caribbean and maybe around the world, fasting, one of the principal spiritual disciplines, is not so much practiced today. So we felt that need to call on the men of the nation, where we ourselves, rather than us try to pass it on, that we take the responsibility for our own spiritual well-being. So if we become spiritual healthy, then we have that responsibility to lead our spouse, our wives, our loved ones into that same way, our children. And what happens overall is that this benefits society. So the purpose for which we're doing this fast is to encourage men to pray for the improved spiritual health of their families, their communities, and ultimately our nation.
The Project Men 2020 coordinator said when all aspects of a man's health are addressed, which include physical, mental, and emotional, it can have a positive impact on the society.
A mandate to lead and to rule, and that is not in a negative way. As husbands, as fathers, as leaders, as teachers, as doctors, as lawyers, politicians. I mean, whichever field that we find ourselves in, we have a mandate, and that mandate needs to be done in accordance with the divine instruction given by our own Creator. So for 2018, our organization, we took a decision since last year to focus on our theme this year, Improving Men's Health 2018. And we decided to do this based on 5 pillars. The first being spiritual health, the second physical health, emotional health, mental health, and financial health. Now, when you look at all of that, you see it's holistic in its in how we perceive going forward.
Huggins further emphasized the point that when men fail to fulfill their God-given responsibilities, the society suffers.
In light of all that is taking place in our society today and the present situation that is taking place, this decision for fast was made long before that. It shows what happens when us as men lose focus. And generally as men, whenever we lose focus from that which our Creator guided us, different things can happen. And we are a nation of laws, but keep in mind that the laws that govern us were laws stipulated by our Heavenly Father. The laws that were given to Moses, which all laws from all nations have been built upon. We, as human beings, we have to be guided by rules. And whenever we go outside of His mandate, then we find ourselves in problems.